So good morning, Abhishek. Are you there? Abhishek, are you there?
Yes, ma'am. I'm here.
Okay. So did you all have a class before this?
No,
No class?
we have chemistry class, but ma'am said that she sent videos for that class.
Okay. Okay. So do you all want me to teach embryo development or do you have any other topic? I mean,
Endosperm embryo development.
actually, according to supposed to study embryo development,
Mm.
then there is endosperm. Okay, embryo development, polyembryony, endosperm, and apomixis. So do you want me to repeat them?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, then we'll see embryo development today. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so let's, yesterday we saw how fertilization, that is double fertilization or triple fusion happens in angiosperms. And we saw that at the end of double fertilization, we have the formation of a diploid zygote and a triploid primary endosperm nucleus. So this zygote will undergo divisions to form embryo. This primary endosperm nucleus will undergo divisions to form a triploid endosperm. So today we will see from the zygote how the development of embryo happens in dicots and in monocots. Okay. So first let's look at the development of embryo in dicots. So when we look at dicots, the embryo development in dicots was studied in detail by a scientist, Hanstein, in the year 1870 in the plant Capsella bursa pastoris, and it belongs to the family of Brassicaceae. So Brassicaceae is the family which has cabbage, cauliflower, okay, and plants like that, Arabidopsis. So this Capsella bursa pastoris was the plant in which Hanstein studied the embryo development of dicots. So as you can see in the figure, the first zygote which is formed after the fusion of your egg cell and one of the male gametes or the sperm cell. So both of them fuse, both of them are haploid in nature. They fuse to form a diploid zygote, right? So this zygote or the oospore, it divides transversely forming two cells. There's a transverse division which results in the formation of two cells. One is known as the apical cell, which is towards the chalaza, and one is known as the basal cell, which is towards the micropyle. Okay. So in this figure, they are differently labeled as suspensor cell and embryo cell. Actually, the apical cell is towards the chalaza and the basal cell is towards the micropyle. This basal cell again divides to form a four-celled structure, and that is known as your proembryo. Okay, so a four-cell structure forms from two-cell structure, and that is known as a proembryo. Then more divisions happen. Okay, another division happens to form a structure like this. Okay, and then more, all these divisions are all mitotic divisions. There are no more meiotic divisions. Okay, so they are all mitotic divisions. So one cell divides to form two cells. Okay, at the end of meiosis, we know one cell divides and forms four cells, and the diploid cell becomes haploid. But those divisions are only happening in your megaspore mother cell and microspore mother cell. All the divisions that happen in the embryo are only mitotic divisions. So you have your zygote, which is divided into an apical cell and a basal cell. Then a 4-celled proembryo is formed. Okay, so this cell which is present at the top is not dividing, it is only increasing in size, as you can see. So only the cells which are present in the bottom are dividing. So after the 4-celled proembryo stage, you have a stage in which you have 4 cells present at the bottom here and another 4 cells at the back. So this stage is known as your quadrant stage. Okay, you just concentrate on the bottom now. The upper cells, we'll look at them later. So you have a zygote, you have a proembryo, and then you have a quadrant stage. From the quadrant stage, the cells again divide to form a octant stage. Okay, all these 4 cells which are present in the quadrant will divide to form octant stage. In this octant stage, you have 4 cells arranged in 2 tiers, that is 2 layers. Okay, the lower tier gives rise to stem tip and cotyledons. Okay, out of the 2 tiers which are present in the octant stage, the lower tier gives rise to stem tip and cotyledons, and the upper tier gives rise to hypocotyle. So what are cotyledons, what are stem tips, what are hypocotyle? We'll just, I'll try to draw a diagram and show you all. Yeah. So in dicots, we all know that there are 2 cotyledons, right? And then these are the roots. So these are the first leaves that come in the from the seedling are known as cotyledons. This is known as hypocotyle. These are your roots. Okay, this part, it can be called your shoot tip, from where your cotyledons arise. Okay, so this is about your parts of a seedling. Okay, so yeah, so in this octant stage, I said there are two tiers, right? In each tier there are 4 cells. So the lower tier gives rise to our stem tip and cotyledons, while the upper tier gives rise to the hypocotyle. After this octant stage, all the 8 cells of the octant stage divide periclinally, forming outer and inner cells. So I already said in the first class what is the difference between periclinal divisions and anticlinal divisions. So periclinal divisions result in the increase in the number of layers, whereas anticlinal division increase in the number of result in the increase in the number of cells in the same layer. So periclinal divisions, whenever they happen, it results in 2 layers. So that is what is happening in octant stage. Periclinal divisions are happening in all the 8 cells present in this area of the octant stage, and they form inner cells and outer cells. So the inner cells undergo anticlinal division to form dermatogen. Dermatogen, we all know, it gives rise to epidermis, right? The inner cells, they divide by longitudinal and transverse divisions to form peribelum and pleurome, right? Peribelum beneath the dermatogen, that is just below the epidermal region, you have peribelum, and peribelum forms the cortex. That is how it is, right? When we look in anatomy, first you have epidermis, then you have cortex, and below cortex you have stele, which is formed by pleurome. Okay, so in this way, from octant stage, you have the formation of dermatogen, peribelum, and pleurome. Dermatogen is formed from the outer cells, whereas the inner cells form your peribelum and pleurome. Dermatogen gives rise to epidermis, peribelum gives rise to cortex, pleurome gives rise to stele. Okay, so in this way, we have the formation of epidermis, cortex, and stele. So what happened in embryo? First, we had a zygote, we had a 4-celled proembryo, then we had a quadrant stage, then we had an octant stage. In this octant stage, there were 2 tiers. Okay, these 2 tiers again divided periclinally. The outer cells became dermatogen, the inner cells became peribelum and pleurome. Peribulum gave rise to cortex, pleurum gave rise to stele, dermatogen gave rise to epidermis. So all this is happening at the bottom end here. So as you can see, the outer layer is termed as dermatogen, right? You can see here, this is your dermatogen. And this ground meristem is nothing but your ground meristem is your cortex that is coming from peribulum. And this procambium is your pleurum, which is giving rise to stele. Okay, so this is what is happening after your octant stage. So what's happening next? Let's see. So you had a apical cell and a basal cell, right? So two cells developed from basal cell of the embryo divide to form. So apical cell is going ahead and forming quadrant and octant. Your basal cell, which is present here, it is dividing to form 6 to 10 cells of suspensor. So all this while we concentrated on this bottom cell. So above you have again 6 to 10 cells which are coming from your basal cell. This apical cell is giving rise to quadrant stage, octant stage. The upper cells are coming from basal cell. So you have 6 to 10 cells which are present above your apical cell. So these 6 to 10 cells, in these 6 to 10 cells, the uppermost cell towards the micropyle becomes very large in size. As you can see, the cell is very large in size and it acts as a haustorium. So what does haustorium do? Haustorium helps in absorption of nutrients. Okay, so as so many changes are happening here, so for all these cells which are growing, we need the required nutrition for their growth. So this acts as a haustorium and it derives the nutrition from the surrounding tissue and provides to the developing tissue here. Okay, so the lowermost cell which is present of suspensor, which is present near the developing embryo. So this is the embryo, quadrant, octant, globular stage that is happening here. So the lowermost cell which is present close to this developing embryo is known as hypophysis. Okay, it is called hypophysis. So this cell, it becomes rounded and it forms two cells which again divide and form 4 cells. Okay, and which again divide to form 8 cells. So this hypophysis undergoes divisions and form 4 cells in 2 tiers. Okay, that is 8 cells, but these 8 cells are present in 2 tiers of 4 cells each. So out of these 4 cells function as root cap and root epidermis. So when we look at the root, all the roots have a protective cap at the root tip because the root tip is going inside the soil and the soil is very hard, so the root tip may get damaged. So to protect from the damage, all the root tips have a protective cap called as calyptra or root cap. Okay, so this root cap is coming from the 4 cells of the hypophysis and also root epidermis initials. That is, initials means from that root epidermis will form. Okay, then other tier becomes the root cortex initials. From that the root cortex will develop. Okay, so we have seen first that the zygote divides into an apical cell and a basal cell. The apical cell will undergo divisions to form a quadrant stage and an octant stage. In octant stage you have 2 layers of cells, right? The outer layer gives rise to dermatogen and the inner layer gives rise to peribulum and pleurum. Okay, so in this way we have the formation of epidermis, cortex and stele here. When we look at the basal cell which is present above, it undergoes divisions to form 6 to 10 cells which act as suspensor. Okay, the whole thing that is present above is known as suspensor, out of which the uppermost cell becomes enlarged in size and it acts as a haustorium and it helps in the absorption of nutrients and provides it to the developing embryo. And then the cell that is present closest to this embryo is known as hypophysis. This hypophysis also divides to form 8 cells where 4 cells are arranged in each tier or each layer. The outermost cells become root cap and root epidermis and the inner cells become root cortex initials and also stele also will further form from there only. Okay, so you have shoot tip and cotyledons coming from this part. Then you have root tip coming from your hypophysis. So this way you have all the things that you need for a seedling. Okay, then after this stage, the stage is like a globe, right? It is spherical, so that's why this stage is known as globular stage. After this, it has the embryo changes into a heart-shaped structure like this. It is called as a heart-shaped embryo. then it changes into a horseshoe shaped structure. Okay, this shape is known as a horseshoe shaped structure. So these two become cotyledons, that is your first leaves. Plumule is nothing, plumule is your shoot tip, radicle is your root tip. Okay, so all these parts come from this embryo. Okay, so when you look at the embryo development, it looks like this. So here you can see you have a fertilized egg or a zygote, you have an apical cell or a basal cell. Here the entire division, all the divisions are inverted from what we just saw. So first you have a quadrant stage, which is not shown here. Then you have an octant stage. Then you have a globular stage. In between you also have something called a triangular stage. Then you have a heart-shaped stage. Between heart-shaped and a horseshoe-shaped stage, you have something called a torpedo stage. Okay, so you can see only the apical cell is dividing to form all these structures, whereas the basal cell, this cell is your haustorium, and the cell which is close to the developing embryo is hypophysis. So from hypophysis, you have root tissue coming from these. From the apical cell, you have your cotyledons and the shoot apical meristem coming. Okay, so you can see how from a zygote you're getting your shoot apical meristem, root apical meristem, and you're getting your first leaves, that is your cotyledons. Okay, so these are the different stages present in the embryo development of dicots. I hope you all understood. Okay, is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any doubts in this?
No.
Do you want me to repeat
ma'am.
again? Everybody, is it clear?
Yes, ma'am, it's clear.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So now let's go to the embryo development in monocots. Okay. 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 So now we'll see the embryo development in monocots. So in monocots and dicots, if you see, most of the divisions that happen are similar. There are very minor differences between monocots and dicots in the embryo development of monocots and dicots. So in dicots, it was the scientist called Hanstein who studied it in Capsula bursa pastoris, as I mentioned. So this embryo development, that is the monocotyledonous embryo development, was studied in a plant called as Sagittaria sagittarifolia. Okay, it was studied in the plant Sagittaria sagittarifolia. Okay, so we'll see what are the main differences between dicot embryo development and monocotyledonary embryo development. So in this also we have a zygote formation that is common, right, in all the angiosperms. The zygote is formed as a result of fusion between your egg cell and one of the male gametes. So this egg cell, as in dicots, divides to form an apical cell and a basal cell. Apical cell is sometimes referred to as terminal cell also. Apical cell and basal cell. So the basal cell is larger and lies towards the micropyle, whereas the apical cell is towards the chalaza. So it is large and it does not divide again. So this basal cell remains as such and it directly transforms into a vesicular cell. So there in dicots we saw that the basal cell divided and formed 6 to 10 cells which are known as suspensor cells, and the uppermost cell became enlarged and acted as a haustorium. Here this basal cell is remaining as such, it is not dividing and it is directly acting as a vesicular cell. It is just enlarging in size. Okay. Next, all the divisions happen in the apical cell. Apical cell divides to form two cells. Okay. So you can see here in C, the apical cell has divided and formed two cells. The lower cell again divides vertically to form juxtaposed cells, that is cells which are arranged in this way. Okay. And the middle cell again divides and forms two cells. So you have a apical cell which is dividing to form two cells. From these two cells, it is again dividing. All these cells are dividing and forming an arrangement like this. They are again dividing and forming cells like this. So these are known as your quadrant stage, okay, where you have 4 cells. From this quadrant stage, several divisions happen to form an octant stage. So you don't need to remember each of these cells R, L and what is happening, okay. You just remember the 2 cells divide to form a quadrant stage, and from this quadrant stage, all these quadrant cells present in the quadrant stage, they divide and to form a octant stage. In octant stage, 4 cells are present and in each of the tires, okay. Similar to what happened in dicots, you have an octant stage. In this octant stage, you have 8 cells, out of which 4 cells are arranged in 2 different tires, okay. So when we reach this octant stage, the outer tire cells, as a result of periclinal divisions, form dermatogen, which in turn gives rise to your epidermis, right? Then the inner cells, the present in the inner tire, they give rise to peribulum and pleurum, which give rise to your cortex and your stele, okay. So all these regions are formed from all these regions which are formed, they give rise to a single cotyledon. So in dicots, I just showed you that there are 2 cotyledons present, right? So this was the structure of your dicot. Because it has 2 cotyledons, it is known as a dicotyledonary plant. But when you look at a monocot, you just have a single cotyledon, like what we see in a grasses, all the plants belonging to Poaceae, right? This is again your hypocotyle. These are your roots. Sorry. Okay. So, because there is a single cotyledon coming out, these are known as monocotyledonary plants. These are dicotyledonary plants. Okay. Let's go back to the presentation. Okay. Yeah. So we have the formation of dermatogen, peribulum, pleurum, and then all these regions in the octants, they divide to form a single cotyledon because they belong to your monocots. Okay. Now the lowermost cell of the suspensor, okay, there the lowermost cell of the suspensor gave rise to root apical meristem, right? It was called hypophysis. So here the lowermost cell L, as you saw here, it is L. The one that is present above L is R. Okay. So the lowermost cell L of the suspensor divides to form stem tip or the plumule. So there we saw that the stem tip or plumule was coming from your apical cell, but here the lowermost cell of the suspensor is forming your plumule or stem tip, and then the cells from R will form your radicle. Radicle is your root tip, okay, and this upper cells are forming your suspensor. Upper 3 to 6 cells are forming your suspensor, okay. So what you have to remember in monocots is a little confusing, but you have to be clear with few of the steps. The main difference is that your basal cell does not divide, it directly transforms into a vesicular cell. The apical cell which is present, it divides to form 2 cells, and then it divides to form a quadrant stage and then an octant stage. Out of this, in this octant stage, just like your dicots, you have 4 cells in 2 tires. The outer tire will give rise to dermatogen, which transforms into your epidermis, and then the innermost cells will form peribulum and pleurum, which form cortex and vascular bundle or your stele. Then all of these regions which are present in the embryo, they form a single cotyledon. Then above this, you have 2 cells which are L cell and R cell. The L cell will divide to form stem tip or your plumule. The R cell will divide to form radicle or root tip. Okay. And the cells which are present above R will act as suspensor cells. The uppermost cell will act as a vesicular cell. It will also help in the absorption of nutrients for the developing embryo, just like how your hostorium was acting in your dicotyledonary plants. Okay, so when we look at the entire embryo development, it looks something like this. You have an apical cell and a basal cell. Basal cell directly transforms into vesicular cell. The apical cell will start dividing and forming a quadrant stage, octant stage. In octant stage, you have the formation of dermatogen plumule, dermatogen peribellum and pleurum, and then just above your uh, embryo, which is developing at the bottom, you have two cells. One is L cell and one is R cell. L cell gives rise to your stem tip. R cell gives rise to your root tip. The cells which are present above R cell will act as suspensor cells. The uppermost cell, which is the basal cell, will remain as such and act as the vesicular cell and help in the absorption of nutrients. So the lower cells which are present will all together form a single cotyledon. Okay, so this is how the embryo development happens in dicots and monocots. So this is to remember each and every cell and how it is happening is a little complicated, but if you remember the important stages, then you can manage. Okay, so you have to be clear with embryo development in dicots. In monocots, you can just do a comparative analysis and show what are the differences. Okay, the basal cell does not divide, it directly transforms into vesicular cell, and here the root tip and shoot tip are forming from this R and L cells. So that is the main difference between these two. Okay. So did you all understand? Do you have any doubts?
No, ma'am.
Everybody?
No, ma'am.
If you have any confusion, you can express so that tomorrow we can again repeat it if you want. If you are clear, well and good. Tell me frankly, did you all understand or no?
Understand.
Everybody?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, so tomorrow we'll see polyembryony and if possible endosperm and apomix also. So with that, embryology should be done. Paleontology also is there. Then we can go to anomalous secondary growth. Okay.
Okay.
So do you have anything else that you want me to repeat? Okay, today the Sumaya sent me the microbiology syllabus. So she said that she wants me to take she wants me to teach second and fourth unit, right, Sumaya? Second and fourth unit. So if you all are interested, I can inform you, and you all also can join, because that will be useful for your entrances. Okay, they are very common topics. I think you all also must be having it in zoology, those who are studying BZC. So you have transformation,
Yes,
conjugation,
ma'am.
mutations, their lac operon, and all of that. So if you
Yes, ma'am.
all are interested, I'll share the link with all of you also. Okay. Maybe from Monday we'll start those classes. I'll inform the time. Then we'll have that. So it's good if you all can attend.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. So do you want me to repeat anything? Any doubts? All good? Are you able to understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All of you? Is this useful?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. So tomorrow we'll study polyembryony and maybe endosperm development also. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Then. I think it's already late for your language class today. So you can all go and join there. Okay. See you all tomorrow then. Bye.
Bye, ma'am.